Hi, this is Rajesh, aka Subs Senior,
Hi, this is Vyom, aka Subs Junior, and
and
together
with
we are the
football
Football
subs.
Subs.
What a cracking couple of days it's been, right, Vyom, in Europe? Three
Well,
days, in fact, to be precise,
I,
across the Champions League, Europa League, and the
there
Conference
were
League as well.
lots of, yeah,
How
um,
cracking was it?
it was very cracking, yeah. Okay. Yeah, and it was packed with lots of late drama and so much action, yeah. So first we're gonna,
We have to start at one point in time, at one of the matches, which to
wait,
you
so
and me
first we're
is
gonna
the most
start,
special match. Which
so
one do you think that is?
that one is the
Arsenal FC,
USA.
by
Yeah,
far
the
the
greatest
greatest
team.
team the world has ever seen.
UCL is ours, okay?
Yeah, it is. And to be honest, look, nobody knew and predicted what would happen. The Arsenal fans were quietly confident, but overtly they always used to say, "Oh, you never know, Bernabeu, anything can happen."
Yeah,
But
but fun fact, on all of like about 20 people on the social media of Real Madrid, they all posted remontada. Oh,
remontada, yeah, there was that buzz, that anticipation.
oh my god.
Apparently, Madrid was full of that remontada, means redemption or revenge or whatever you want to call it.
Oh.
And it would have happened. It's not that it has not happened before. Apparently, out of, I
Yeah.
think, 18 times, or God knows, no, more than that, 40 times or so, only 4 times has a team come back from 3-0 down. So there was
Yeah.
a high hope, expectation, everything. But you all know what happened.
Yeah.
Let us tell you what
So,
happened.
so they, so br- so first it was Bukayo Saka. He scored. He chipped the goalkeeper, but before that he attempted a panenka. Maybe it was the right idea, but if he did it, it was the right idea because if he did it like down the middle, it would have worked out. But he decided to do it on the
That was
left.
cheeky of him, wasn't it?
Yeah,
But imagine the mental strength of the lad. The mental
wow.
strength. He is most infamously known not because of his own fault, but because of all the vile criticism that unfairly came after him for missing the Euros penalty.
Yeah, but
But after
yeah,
that, this lad has the mental strength of a rock. Imagine to have tried a Parenka like that, number one, to have missed it, and then come back and score a similar chipped goal.
wow.
Talk about confidence against the defending champion, in reputation, the best team in the world with the
Yeah,
best lineup, and arguably against the best goalkeeper in
goalkeeper.
the world.
And
Whoa, what a
yeah,
lad.
and that's what you call remontada, redemption. Okay, so now we're
There
gonna
you go.
move
That's a
on.
good one. No, and go on. Tell us more about the game because there were so many other things that happened in the game. I mean, the performance of Arsenal was
Yeah,
just spectacular because it, it, everybody played their part.
yeah,
The king to
and
me was
literally,
Declan Rice.
yeah,
My God, what a different
he
performance
was
compared to the last
the
time.
best. Across the two legs, it was all just him. He did everything. He was doing the defensive work. He's just such a good player because he has the ability to defend from the back and attack from the front. He can whip these really good cold crosses into the box, and he tracks back whenever Arsenal get caught on the break. He's just brilliant.
So this time he did play that role more of a number six, that of a defensive
Yeah.
general who would control everything, compared to the first leg where he was a classic number eight, providing, doing free kicks, all of that. So honestly, it was a spectacular performance. But not just him, everybody else. What about Mikel Merino?
Yeah,
He had never played as a centre forward before. After the age of
makeshift
9,
striker.
look at him now. He provided, assisted both the goals. Oh,
Wow.
superb.
And
What about
and
Odegaard? The quiet and silent general,
he
always
was
there to retrieve the balls.
yeah
It was just something else
I
this
know
time.
I know he didn't score, but he's also he's one of the main people who leads the creativity of that role.
Exactly.
The
And I
team.
think this team feels set. However, you do have to discount for the fact that this Real Madrid does not play for a team. Their front four, arguably the highest individual qualities in Rodrigo, in
Yeah,
in
in Bellingham.
Mbappe, in Bellingham, and of course in Vinny Jr.
But last season, everyone expected them to do way better than this. Everyone did.
Subs Jr. had made a point many months ago. What's wrong with Mbappe? And he
Yeah.
doesn't play in the position he wants to play. Both Vinny and him want to play in the same position. So what do? Can't do anything.
Yeah, but
So
it's just ego. Yes, indeed. But this is the thing. Like Mbappe, he keeps on getting caught offside. Of course, he could have earned a penalty, but well, that wasn't even a penalty.
that wasn't a penalty, thankfully, which means Declan Rice will play the first leg. Otherwise, he would have got a yellow card and gone. But those were soft decisions, and you can call it European decisions. These won't be given in the Premier League ever.
Yeah, but that wasn't even a foul. Like, you've got to stop the player from getting the ball somehow. You can't just stand there just looking at the player. Yeah.
Correct. So all in all, a super positive performance by the Gunners. They controlled the game from the beginning. They never once looked out of control. Yes, Saliba had a bit of a moment of madness and lost the ball. He didn't spot Vinny prowling, but that's okay. I think the confidence manifested into a slight overconfidence, but overall it was a super performance.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, again with Rice passing and Merino providing and Gabby running and taking on Courtois 1-1, that was scream time for everybody.
But the defenders didn't get much attention. Like Kivior did really well.
Oh, of course he did. What about Kivior? He's come in as a sub really for the last few weeks because of injuries, but he's really stepped up, and that was so good. Luis Kelly once again proved that he belonged. That 18-year-old lad in Bernabeu against everybody. Now that's again remontada after all the red cards that he's received through the season. Oh my goodness, that was amazing. So, all in all, Arsenal was the team that is now in form. They won both the legs. Actually, they are the only team in the quarterfinal to have won both the legs, which means they will continue with that form. Yes, they've been managing the squad. Yes, both the results have been rounded up with draws because they didn't play their first choice squad in the league, but they more or less accepted that the league is out of their grasp and going to Liverpool. So they will just manage that.
The Champions League is their main focus.
The Champions League is absolutely their focus.
Arteta will make history if he goes on to win it.
And Arteta did say that as a manager, this was his proudest night. And I agree. As a fan, this was my proudest night. I felt superb because of this.
Okay, yeah.
So why don't we take a break now, and we'll just come back with a roundup of some of the other matches over there.
In the Europa League, and more in the Champions League, lots more, Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Hi, football fans. We're back from our short break.
Hi.
And now we're going to bring you more football talk and mainly Europe and yes.
Let's find out about the rest of the Champions League.
Will kick us off.
Sure thing. So, let's talk about the rest of the Champions League games. What really happened? I mean, we did have Aston Villa facing off, trying to overturn a 1-3 lead against Paris Saint-Germain. What happened in that game? I mean, Villa did give them a run for their money, didn't they?
Yeah, they did win, but it just wasn't enough.
It wasn't.
Marcus Rashford, he played really well.
A lot of them played well.
Yeah, everyone played very well.
But it was just not enough because they started off slightly languid, and what that meant was they actually gave up 2 goals fairly quickly.
Yeah, but if they didn't give up those 2
If they hadn't, or if they hadn't given the 93rd minute goal in Paris, that could have been a different thing. But look, they showed a lot of fight, they showed a lot of mettle, and this is an Aston Villa team under Unai Emery that is here to stay.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about more statistics in that match. So now we're going to talk about who scored, who provided. Yeah, so the first goal was scored by Ashraf Hakimi. I mean, Martinez made a mistake. He spilt the ball. Yep, and then yes, so and then
Bruno Mendes went in
yeah, and
to
then
get that 2-0
to
lead.
get the two goal cushion in that game, and then Yuri Tielemans gave them some hope, and after that John McGinn scored. Then just 2 minutes later, Ezri Konsa scored.
Yeah. So look,
Yeah.
we are where we are. So PSG looks amazing, don't they? They have a young team, and they had everybody back right now in their team.
Yeah.
So they are, and they have such a wonderful young talent, Due and so many others. It's just something else, right? If you think about it, Rafinha and so on. So look, I think it's all good now. PSG will meet Arsenal. I would say that PSG is still the strong favorite, and I don't think Arsenal would mind being the underdog, but Arsenal is full of confidence.
Yeah.
In terms of the other two quarterfinals,
Yes,
Barcelona took a 4-goal lead.
But it's but Guirassy, he scored a hat trick. He's currently I think he's the top scorer in the Champions League right now.
Sure.
Yeah, he is, but unfortunately he can't add to that because
Hey, so yeah, there we are. So that was that game. Let's talk a little bit about, well, we were talking about Barcelona, right? They did lose now, Dortmund, but then overall they won 3 up. So that was a bit of a, so if you think about it, both PSG and Barcelona lost the game.
5-3, yeah.
Yeah, 5-3, sorry. So they did lose their second legs, but honestly, they will take a lot of confidence into the semi-final. And Barcelona's opponents will be Inter Milan.
Yeah, I think my prediction is Inter will win because I think it will be an Inter v Arsenal final.
Yeah, that'll be good. I mean, but you never know, right? At this point in time, they all have some great things going in for them. Inter drew, of course, to Bayern. Bayern threw everything, including the kitchen sink at them. But they could only get up to 2-all for the night and hence lost that particular game.
Yeah, and both of the goals from corners. And also, and another fun fact about the Inter Milan game, Lautaro Martinez, who scored. He's
First consecutive game.
Yeah, and he's the only person in Inter history to do that.
That's really something else. So, look, that's where the Champions League is. Watch out for a really lip-smacking semi-final.
And now,
If the teams take their form in, I think they will all perform very well. No one really has injury scares. Of course, Arsenal still is missing a striker and Gabriel and others.
Yeah,
but then they will give it their all, and it's gonna be. It's a great achievement. Now, if you think about it, both PSG and Arsenal have never won the Champions League. So if they do it, it'll be first-time winners. So there'll be at least one potential first-time winner in the semi-finalists, and the other one will, of course, be either along Barcelona or others.
Yeah,
So now let's do a quick roundup of the other things. Go on.
Let's get on to the Europa League.
Oh,
So
crazy
first,
stuff.
Yeah, so we'll save the two best matches. Well, the best match for the last one. So first,
Yeah.
Athletic Club Bilbao.
They beat
They beat Rangers 2-0. Nico Williams in
the
the
star
80th
boy.
minute.
Yeah.
And Ohian
Sunset. Ohian
I
Sunset.
don't know.
So he went in. So look, Rangers is out.
Yeah,
And then Bodo Glimt
Yeah, Bodo Glimt. Yeah, they won.
in
And,
penalties.
Oh wow.
Lazio came back on the night and won, obviously. But Bodo Glimt or Bud Glimt, like somebody says. Bud Glimt.
Okay, now we're done.
But then two English teams. Whoa.
Dominic Solanke scored a penalty against Eintracht Frankfurt.
Eintracht Frankfurt
And
and
now the best
away
man-
from home, and they actually made it. And Tottenham again defended out of their skin. There was a time in the last few minutes where they had all 10 men defending along with the goalkeeper. That was really something else. In fact, one of the things of the night was Solanke or someone running with the ball to the opponent corner, to their home team corner, and trying to keep away with it, just so that they can defend.
Yeah.
And finally, last but not least, the
Oh.
madness of a game.
Okay, so we're gonna get you through this. So first,
What happened in the first half? Manu versus.
Manuel Ungarte and Diogo Dalot made it put the 2-0 cushion, and then
And they were, what were they then? 4-all for the night? No.
Yeah, no, 2-all.
2-all for them.
And then half time. And after half time, Olympique Lyonnais, they equalized. Then in the 90th minute, Lyon got a red card, so Man United got an advantage, and Bruno Fernandes took it. So and then Bruno Fernandes. And then Ryan Chucky made it 3-2.
And 4-2 for the night.
Yeah.
Which means 6-4 at aggregate. And this was additional extra time with 6 minutes left to play. Then what happened?
Oh my god.
Craziest 6 minutes of extra
Fernandes, Manu, oh my god. Then Maguire, 2 goals in 2 minutes. Oh my god.
And Manu, Old Trafford, the fans cheered the roof down of Old Trafford. It was something else.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, so, yeah, it was, yeah.
So yeah, that's where we are. We have 2 teams making the semi-finals, 2 English teams making the semi-final of Europa League.
And one English team making it
to the Europa and to the Champions League. And of course, Chelsea fairly comfortably went, even though they were beaten at home in the second leg against Legia Warsaw. They did enough to make it to the semi-final of the Conference League.
Yeah.
So look, a lot of European teams overall, a lot of English teams in Europe now, and that ensures and confirms that England will have confirmed 5 Champions League spots. Now think about it. If either of Man U or Tottenham, who are essentially 13th and 15th in the domestic league, or 16th even, if they win the Europa League, then England will have one more team in the Champions League. So that will be really something. So let's look forward to it. This was a short episode, and as you see, as you hear, it's only audio. But we just thought that we should come close to you. We'll bring you some more news from the Women's Champions League tomorrow. Both Sub Junior and I are attending to
Olympique Lyonnais Feminine versus the Arsenal
women, the semi-final of the Women's Champions League. So more on that tomorrow. Until then, hi, this is Sub Senior. This is Sub Junior, and together we are the Football Subs, wishing you the best holiday weekend ever.